And it's very important that we don't exhaust, but at the same time, she knows it's important for community to listen and understand those things that center around mental health and mental wellness. I separate the two because they are slightly different. And I want everyone to understand that it's okay to talk about. We want to get rid of the taboo around talking about these things, as I said earlier in the show. And then we want to normalize all conversation around mental health, mental wellness, those who have received mental diagnoses, those who even slightly forget some things. Again, this is a topic that does not skip anyone, whether it's for a few seconds or a couple months, a couple years. We all deal with this either directly or indirectly and or temporarily during the course of our lives. It's just what it is, and it's normal, and we need to be able to talk about it just as we talk about the favorite foods we like, all right, our favorite colors, those types of things. So without further ado, we're going to jump right in. But before that, I also want to say this. There were some individuals who on the first Saturday of last month, August, called in, wanted information from Dr. Brooks. Please remember that you can give a call, get her contact information. She will return calls to you all. Just have to be patient, okay? And then make sure you get your comment, your concern, your situation responded to. She's very open to do that. And make sure you just call up here if you need to, 269-349-1660. We are here to help each other, okay? We're community, being about community. And now, without further ado, we are going to get started with Dr. Brooks, Chosen LLC, where the number is 1-866-232-5389. Saying good afternoon to you, Dr. Brooks. How's it going?
Good afternoon. I am well. How are you?
Doing well. I was saying offline, I was like, I'm like all over the place, a little bit this, a little bit that, but it's all good. I'm just claiming it good regardless. You know,
right.
The words we speak mean something.
Yes.
So I'm trying to tap into that a whole lot more.
Yes.
Knowing that, but sometimes, you know, we're human. We lay that to the side and we just say, oh, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that. But I'm also great. I'm good.
So what you're saying?
Uh-oh.
Y'all know me. I'm gonna jump right on in. I'm right on in. Okay. Because you know, my understanding about the reason that I'm on the show is to, like you just said, normalize mental health, mental wellness, all the things, right?
Absolutely.
And so there's this piece of, yes, I'm gonna claim it good, and I'm gonna make sure that I am an active participant in getting towards that good. And that's really why I'm here, is to talk about that. Like, I'm not just gonna acknowledge that this is my situation, and what things do I have within my ability to help to make the situation better, right? Because sometimes people say, well, it'll get better with time. Not if you don't do nothing.
Right. It's just
not
there.
if you,
it's just
right?
sitting.
It'll get better with time, and you put stuff in the trash, and it, right? And you didn't take it outside. You didn't, and it smelled when you put it in there, right? It's gonna get better with time. No.
So you're right.
I don't think, right? Exactly.
It's gonna get ugly.
Exactly. And that's what happens with the mental health challenges that we don't deal with. They don't get better with time.
That's good.
Right? And we have to acknowledge them. And when we see them, do, to your point, what we can to create the change that we want to see in that situation, right? Because reality is, and that's part of what we're going to be talking about today, is this idea of collective trauma. There's so many things that are not in our control, but reality is there are some things that are within our control. And how do we navigate that?
Indeed.
Yeah.
So I'm loving this. Like I said, I was anxious to get into this conversation because there was, I don't know about you, but I got, several calls, several messages like, oh, this is good. Wait a minute, let me cut out some time, that type of thing. So to those of you who are paying attention ahead of time, thank you so much. And again, you can also help be community and spread information that we hear, that we share, that Dr. Brooks is going to give us to utilize, that easily implement into our lives, our daily lives, things that we don't have to work triple time on in remembering to do. But We're taking things bite-sized pieces. That's how we eat an elephant, one bite at a time, right?
Yes.
So practical in approach and easy to intertwine into our daily lives to help improve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So today's topic is when we're all going through it, navigating collective trauma together.
Yes, yes.
Collective trauma is trauma that happens to everybody as a large group, right? And so you may be wondering, even just hearing it, you may be thinking like, oh, I think I have an idea of what that might look like, right? So most recently, everybody went through the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
Everybody
yes.
went through, and everybody went through all the things that happened during the pandemic, right? For some people, the elections are traumatic for them.
Yes.
There may be traumatic experiences that you experience just within your family or within the workplace, but it's something that impacts you significantly, that causes you recurring stress, that a group of people experience together. We all went through this together, right? Yes. Sometimes it's an accident. You're on a bus, you're in an accident. Everybody is impacted by that, right? That's collective trauma.
Yes.
And one of the things that happens sometimes when we experience collective trauma is we talk about it, but that's it. Or sometimes we don't talk about it, and that's it, right? It's the elephant that's in the room. You just leave it there. You know, we ignore the thing, or we keep telling ourselves, because everybody probably knew somebody that did this during the pandemic, it's going to be over next week. It's going to be over next week. Like, at what point do we just try to adjust to what's happening and own what we're thinking and feeling about it and really make the time for that?
At what point? Yeah, that's good. Just sidebar on that. Do you think the way that technology is used now also may lean into that? You know, it's going to be okay next week. It's going to be all right. We see all of this trauma. And unfortunately, how we see it and how it's presented on so many different platforms, it sort of conditions and causes us to normalize these traumas. And they're not okay.
So not only do you normalize the trauma, but you learn normalizing it means that you ignore what's happening for you when it does happen, right? Because if there's a major life event that impacts you and you are emotionally, it shows up in some sort of way. After you keep having exposure to that thing, you become what we call desensitized to it, right? It doesn't do anything, you know? So, for example, I was working at a university, and while I was there was an active shooter on campus. Wow. And so the next day, I happened to be on the on-call team, like the emergency team. And so we were expecting, like, people going to be coming in wanting to talk about it. So there was one student that came in, international student, and he was like, I think something might be wrong with me. I was like, okay. And he said, because I got all of the notifications that said that there is an active shooter on campus, and I came to campus. Like, there was nothing that clicked for me that said, don't go to campus with an active shooter. And he was like, it didn't dawn on me that I shouldn't be there until I showed up and nobody was there because the university was on lockdown. Right. And so then we started looking into his life experiences, and he said that in the country where he grew up, it was normal. Yeah. That's what happened. And it was in that moment that he was in a different situation and noticed the emotions of other people that he began to say, oh, maybe I should be having some feelings about this, right? Maybe this is not okay. And that's the benefit of having conversations around things that we experience together that are traumatic. Is I might think that it's okay, or maybe I told myself that it was okay, but then somebody else comes in with a feeling and I'm like, why didn't anything, you know?
I didn't get that.
I didn't. And it may or may not be a healthy response, but you don't know until you check it out, right? In that environment where he grew up, that's probably a healthy response.
Ooh,
because he would be traumatized every day, right? Those are things that, like, we all develop ways to protect ourselves emotionally. But there comes a point where we're not in that environment anymore, and we no longer need those same tools, right? So when you have somebody that's coming to counseling and they're dealing with some childhood trauma, one of the things that we look for is, are you exhibiting behaviors that you used to keep you safe in childhood, but now you're not there anymore, so I can let those go, right?
Yeah.
COVID is still around, but not to the extent that it was before. So are there things that I can do to start to reacclimate, which is part of what we're going to talk about today, and create some new norms for myself now that we have this different understanding of COVID, or we're in a different place with it? We're not still back there. Because what happens with trauma is, in the moment that, and people probably have heard the word triggers before, right? In the moment that something comes up that brings up for me a familiarity of something that was traumatic, I am no longer here in today. I am there whenever the traumatic event happened. And so how am I responding when things come up related to collective trauma? If somebody brings up the topic, what am I doing? How am I reacting? And when we think about that, like the first point that we're going to talk about is signs and symptoms. What are the signs that are telling me that I am having a reaction that may not be working well for me in the long term? Because it's important that you want to be able to see what's going on. But at the point that I get to what we call hypervigilance, right? That I'm almost, hypervigilance starts to tap on the door of paranoia, right? If it stays around too long. Like at the point that I am there, then I need to look and say, okay, I shouldn't still be like this long after the event, right? So for example, I was in a car accident some years ago, and because I am a mental health provider, and I was grateful for this in that moment because I knew what I needed to do to take care of myself so that I did not have a complete traumatic reaction to it. But for the first 3 months, I did not go through that intersection. I was like, that's too much for me right now. But I knew the entire time I'm going to have to do it. Because if I just keep avoiding it, right, it's just going to live with me. And then what happens is, not only is it that intersection, over time, again, if we don't do anything, now I'm overgeneralizing it. So now it's not this intersection. It's all intersections where I got to make a left-hand turn. Or it's all the intersections on that side of town where I have to, right? So then it just keeps getting deeper and deeper because we aren't actively doing anything to challenge it. And so one of the ways that I measured, again, we're talking about signs and symptoms, one of the ways that I measured how well I was doing in terms of moving through that trauma was paying attention to what's happening in your body physically when that trauma comes up, when the topic comes up related to it, right? So I would have heart palpitations. I might get a little warm. And it wasn't just related to turning. It was like if I was driving and a car did something funky, it was like my body was just reacting, right? So we have physical symptoms that tell us, or physical indicators that let us know we're responding to something. And so we can't just, or we could, but it's not productive to just sit there and say, okay, it'll pass, but what am I actively doing to try to make sure that I get back to a healthy state with it, so I'm not continually getting triggered by, especially not by the same things, because we don't always know what's going to bring it. Like, triggers are not necessarily predictable, right? Something may show up that you weren't even anticipating. It's like, oh wait, I'm having that kind of traumatic response, and I need to sit with that for a minute. And think, what can I do with this? How can I use it as a notification to me that I got some work to do? Not just this is how it goes.
This is just how I am.
Oh, my goodness. Right?
That's just how I am. I've been like that. Oh, but if it's not working.
That part.
Come on.
It's not working for you or anybody that you know that got to deal with you.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
It's not working. So what are the physical symptoms? What are the emotional symptoms? Are you experiencing anxiety and all the things that anxiety looks like. Sometimes it looks like shaking or pacing or ruminating, like I'm thinking over and over again about this thing. Sometimes I'm feeling nervous or scared, right? Anxiety. Sometimes emotional symptoms look like grief, like I just feel, or depression. I just feel heavy as it relates to that topic. You know, I had someone who, when the election came around again, this is what she said. And I was so proud of her.
Okay.
She said, I'm not doing that again.
Oh.
I'm not going through, because she was stressed the first time around. Like she was stressed. And she said, I'm not doing it again. I'm not. Like, I'm not going to be stressed out about it. It's going to be what it's going to be. I'm going to do my part. And here are the things that I can do to manage or navigate my emotional intensity around this, right? So she was like, I need to limit what I'm watching on TV. I'm not having all these conversations with all these people. I'm going to make sure my husband good and my kids are good. But, like, I need to be intentional. And it was amazing to see the change in her. I mean, because before it was like, physically showing up for her that she was having a reaction and it was stressful, and she's like, I'm not doing it again. And so sometimes we don't think that we have that kind of power or ability to say that within ourselves, right? I'm not doing this again, or reaching out to people who can help us not do the thing again, you know, but we can do that.
We don't realize we have that voice or control.
Yeah.
It is merely speaking. I'm not. You're declaring what's not
Yeah.
going to happen.
And if you don't know how to do it by yourself, great. We got people for that. There are people trained to help you with that. And then it could also look like, for example, like a sign or a symptom that you're experiencing collective trauma is behaviorally, it could show up like isolation, or maybe you're not going to certain places, or fatigue, or irritability, or what. You know what? I was proud of myself. Now, if there's a handful of people that's gonna know what I'm talking about, but I'm proud of myself because the first time I got COVID, it was the first. Oh, I had it 3 times. Now, here's the crazy part about having it 3 times. I knew exactly where I got it every time.
Oh,
I did. I knew who gave it to me. So the first time I got it, it was a situation where I was traveling with someone and we shared a room, and I got COVID.
Yeah.
And guess what I did a couple weeks ago? I went somewhere and I shared a room with somebody who said, because this person didn't know they had COVID. They didn't know they had COVID. This person was like, I'm getting over a cold. They had a mask on. I'm getting over a cold, you know, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? And they said, here's when my symptoms started. But like, we had the whole conversation. And I said, okay. Like, traumatized me. Look, she over here taking deep breaths, y'all. Okay. Traumatized me would have been like, I'm tapping out. I'm not going. I'll catch y'all on the next go round. Been there, done that, sharing a room and got COVID. This looked like that and I'm not doing it, right? But I was like, nope, because I know how a cold works and you should be out. Yep, I Googled it too. I was like, yep, she should be out of the contagious period. But we really do have to challenge ourselves on those responses that we have, right? Because now you're so terrified about it that you're limiting what it is that you're doing, and maybe it's not that serious. So good news is, I didn't even get the cold that she was recovering from. She's still coughing, and we good.
Oh, good.
We good. We're good. So we really have to make sure that we're paying attention and we're challenging ourselves. And I know that, you know, COVID was different for a lot of people because some people had major health challenges that caused them to like, okay, this could really just be it for me if I get COVID, you know? But do you want to live the rest of your life like that? Because they already said COVID ain't going nowhere. COVID is the new flu.
Different variants.
Right? It's going to be here. And so what can we do to continue to live despite what has happened?
Yes, doctor, what can we do?
Yeah.
And then at some point, we don't have to do it today, but you said something earlier, you know, in terms of depression and being able to identify and understand, you know, see the triggers, see what's happening with you emotionally and physically. The thing is, what do we do with those individuals who hold it like a baby. Don't want to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's, I guess, what you would call a normalized part of life now. Oh, this is just me, and I don't have this. Somebody done somebody wrong song, and I'm this, and I'm the black sheep, and nobody, you know, all of these things. And there's so many resources, so many things you say to an individual.
Yes.
We got to put that in the system, in the lineup somewhere. It's like, how do you start or begin to tap into that, to chip away at some of that so they can start hearing differently?
Yes. Yes. So I will, I'll give you this part, and I'll put it in the context of what we're talking about today, this collective trauma. So our, you know what? Let's do that in point number 3.
Yeah.
Because point number 3 is rebuilding stability. We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
So we ready for number 2?
Yes.
All right. So number 2 is strategy for recovery. So again, we are talking about navigating collective trauma, those things that we experience all together that impact us physically, mentally, emotionally. And so strategies for recovery, what is going to help us to move through it? And one important piece is being able to come together to talk about it. And in the thinking about talking about it, it's not just for the sake of empathy and somebody being able to validate my experience, but then also, what are we going to do about it? Because there are moments where we just need to be heard, and there's a release in that.
Yes.
But then we also can't get stuck in this space of we just gonna talk about it and complain about it on repeat. Because it's right. Because that's what we do.
Absolutely.
Right? You talk.
It's true. It is so true.
You just do it on repeat, and at some point you have to register for yourself. Like, I keep talking about this, but I haven't moved at all. And so what responsibility am I taking to get to another place? And are we having those kinds of conversations when we're coming together?
Indeed. So with that being said, Doc, we're going to take a break here. A musical break to kind of let what's been shared resonate and meld into the thoughts of our listeners right now. And we're going to do that with a song. This is Her, and the title of it is Trauma. Right here on 96.5 WTOU. We'll be back in a moment. Wow. Because there's a couple conversations I've had this week where it's just the same thing over and over, and it's like, why are you glorifying this? What is really going on? And then another one, I say, couple knows my own son. It's like, stop it, because I'm tired of hearing it. You know?
Yeah, I know. And you know, it's hard. It can be more challenging when it is a family member or somebody that you are close to.
Very close, right?
Yeah, very close. Very close. And it's I established boundaries. Like, I can't carry this for you. I can't.
And I admit, you know, in terms of when we think about enabling, it's like, I used to try to, you know, kind of listen to her and be like, okay, what can I do differently? I'd go to bed with that. I'd wake up with that. And, hey, did you try this? You know, it becomes my issue. I'm wearing it in the way it's weighing me down. And then it's like, okay, so what do I do when I need help? Because I can't go to none of y'all, you know?
Yeah.
Like, help me out.
And there's truth behind that too, because there are people that happen to as well, where they're like, you know, this relationship is draining for me, and that's where self-awareness comes in. Like, how am I feeling at the end of this, and how much do I have to give to this, especially if you're not ready to move. And I've told that to people before that I've had to establish boundaries with. And I said, look, when you're ready to do this, let me know. But like, I cannot sit with you in this, and it is painful for me to sit here and watch you do this, right? Because I know that something different is out there. So one of the things that happens, and this is just kind of what I say to myself, is, and actually, you know, Pastor Moore talks about this, how people need to have a significant emotional event. And sometimes this is what enabling looks like, is we're so busy trying to help this person that we prevent the significant emotional event because we're always buffering them because we're trying to save them. And it's like, maybe if I just said this to a friend yesterday. I said, I was having a conversation with this person, and at some point I just said, okay, you're going to have to fall on your face. That's what I said in my brain. You're going to have to fall on your face because you're not hearing anything that I'm saying right now. And I can't help you when you're here. And so I'm going to have to let you crash a little bit. But and for the sake of the when it's a good relationship, they know, and this is what I love about this, but it's hard for people to trust this. When it's a good relationship or it's a solid relationship, people know that you will still be there. Right? Because I've had people that happens even in therapy, right? They're not ready to work on what you talk about, what you say they need to work on. They leave, they bump their head a few times, and they come on back. Why? Because the relationship was good, and they know that you're still there, even if you left them at some point or you departed ways at some point. And so sometimes we just really have to trust the strength of the relationship, that when they get right, they're going to understand your heart and where you were coming from at that time, and that's the part that's going to bring them back.
Ooh, mercy.
Yeah, I think about this with parenting, and I tell a lot of parents of like middle schoolers and high schoolers, because they're like, "Oh, my kid isn't listening." I said, "They are. They never gonna tell you they listen. Just keep talking because they listening." And here's what happens, and I see this happen with families and in therapy, is when it finally clicks to them, they know exactly what to do. Why? Because you've been telling them for years. When they finally ready, so now they have exactly what they need to start moving because they've been hearing it.
Yeah.
They don't have to now go get it. They got it.
They got it. They've been had it. Just want to be obstinate.
Or it ain't got bad enough yet.
Right.
You know?
It's not that bad.
Not yet.
They just want these.
They lying to themselves.
Come on. All right. We are back. The selection you heard was Her featuring Hit Boy. The name of that song was called Trauma. Some things we hear, we don't have to take it personal, but when we do, there's some things we can do to get ourselves or dig ourselves out of the hole we may feel that we are in. All right. And now we are going to return to the conversation with Dr. Leatrice Brooks. We're on point 2, strategy for recovery.
Yes.
Dr. Brooks.
Yeah. So what helps us to move through collective trauma? So in addition to having conversations with people about what it is that we're experiencing, there are times that you can establish rituals or behavior patterns that allow you to hold space for what it is that you're experiencing. Okay. So we're going to get together, and here's the thing too, is putting parameters on it. So we're not going to sit here for 4 hours and talk it through, but we're going to take a minute and just acknowledge what is happening, right? That we're going to sometimes, like when we deal with loss and people are having major life events after the point of loss, is we talk about something called memorializing a person, or how do you want to include that person in your whatever it is that you're doing, right? So like I have a bracelet. People know I'm in the jury. I have a bracelet. This bracelet is actually my dad's bracelet. He died a couple years ago. But this is one of his bracelets. It's a way to have him with me, even though he's not, right? It's a way to acknowledge the experience without having to just sit in it all the time. Because sometimes I think, I don't know, we tell ourselves different things around feelings and emotions, and like, am I denying it or minimizing it or anything? Moving forward with life doesn't mean that you have denied any life experience.
That's good.
That's not what that means. Yeah.
Okay.
But when you're intentional about how you want to handle it or how you want to encapsulate it or capture it for yourself, then it can be helpful. I was talking to an organizational leader, and she was saying that one day she realized that there was a lot of grief in her staff, and so they just kind of created a grief circle. And whatever it is that you were grieving about, it could be anything. Just having this space to hold space for what you're feeling and having somebody else to be able to acknowledge that with you. And then we're going to say, okay, and what do we do next? What do we do next?
And just the wherewithal for them to form such a circle of support, you know, it brings about more trust.
Yes.
And the closeness that we often need. And sometimes, you know, in some spaces, that's all we need. We just need to know that we can trust some people or a person, that type of thing.
Yes, and I would say this too. If you are in the workforce and you need something like that in the workplace, because workplace is a place like when we were in COVID, one of the things that happened is people started to realize that employees and staff members are not just bodies showing up at work. They were people, right?
Yeah.
With families and responsibilities, right? Because now you got everybody on a Zoom call with kids running in the background, like, oh, right? Like, oh, let me get this out the microwave right quick. Let me let the dog out, right? You got,
hold on 1 second. Yeah.
right? You got cats running across your screen, right? Because they, right? All the things, right? Real life. And so we can use that right now because it's still in the air to really have conversations with organizational leadership and supervisors to say, hey, we are people, and can we create space for something that brings us together on about a collective experience. And to your point, it does create more unity, more oneness within the organization, more empathy, more teamwork and showing up. So all the things that we trying to force people to do, they'll just do it if you give them the opportunity to connect. And I've said this before, one of the deepest ways that we connect as humans is through shared emotional experiences. And so if I can understand the emotions that you're going through, like unless, you know, got certain kinds of diagnoses, right? Most people are going to be able to connect and understand and will show some level of empathy with you. And then that creates a greater relationships within the workplace, and then also helps to build each other for the work, for that supportiveness and that healthy culture that most organizations are seeking.
Yes, indeed. Oh my gosh, this is good.
Yes, amen. Awesome. Awesome. And then the last part, point number 3, is rebuilding stability. Rebuilding stability. And so how do we rebuild safety and coherence for people? So it's not that I'm going to ignore what happened and just go back to life as it was before. Life as it was before isn't there anymore because so many things have changed. But that means I can be intentional to establish a new routine. I have to reset the foundation for myself, for my life, for the people that I'm leading, whether it is within an organization or within your own family. How do we reestablish the foundation, right? There are a lot of organizations who tried to, they just tried to pick up where they left off pre-COVID. They got a lot of pushback from folks, you know. During COVID at my office, I knew then, I was like, we're not going back to 100% in person. We're not. Like, there's no way that we're going to do that. And how do we establish, again, what's going to now work in the context of we just experienced this thing? So you want to reestablish routines and predictability. So what are the things that we can just set a cadence for, put it on repeat? This is what we can reasonably expect, because that's what part of what happens during trauma. The unexpected has happened, and it throws your sense of stability off. And so how can we start to predict some things or just create some predictability within the workplace, within our households, in our own lives, and then creating spaces for what's called emotional regulation, spaces where I can just recenter myself mentally and emotionally. So one of the things that's happened since COVID at our office is we've gradually seen an increase in the number of people who come in to the office for services, right? And versus just being telehealth. And so maybe for our hybrid therapists, probably half of their caseload at least is folks who are coming into the office. And here's the thing, physically coming into the office creates a sense of safety. for people, right? Even if everywhere else in the world is chaotic, I know I can go to 1803 Whites Road, Suite 4, and just be stable, and I know what to expect when I get there, and I'm going to be there. Like, it and so where in our lives can we create that sense of safety that helps us to balance out our emotions? You know, I've said before that sometimes we get people who just come and they sit in our lobby. Why? Because it's just a place
calming
to be. Yes.
Yeah.
And so what are those things for you? And then we also have to be intentional to not only be there ourselves, but then to model that for the people who are around us, right? Because we either in leadership or even, and when I say leadership, I mean broadly, right? It may be at work, it may be within your household, but if somebody looking at you and they following you, you a leader. Okay, so let's say that. But we have a responsibility as leaders to create calm and clear environments and be responsive to the people that we are responsible for. So if I'm losing it and you following me, guess what you gonna do? Lose it. Yeah. You're gonna lose it, right? And so that means I got to do my work to make sure that I'm okay and that I'm really okay and I'm not faking it till we met. People be killing me with that. Do you hear me?
Yes, indeed.
Fake it I'm gonna fake it till I make it. For what?
Right.
Why would I do that?
And once you get there, you're gonna mess it up.
You fooling yourself. You are fooling yourself. And why would I willingly sign up to fake it until I make it, right? Yeah. So instead of faking it, just gain some skills and start moving towards some things.
All right. One moment, please. And we're back.
All right. So, and then you also want to reconnect to your purpose. Again, we're talking about rebuilding stability. You want to connect to whatever purpose means for you and your values, because those are things that you can lean into that will stabilize you. So values as in, what are the things that are important and meaningful to you? Those things don't go out the window when we experience a traumatic event, right? So for example, during the break, and if you online, you would have heard the break conversation, but we talk about valuing movement, not enabling.
Right.
If I value movement, then I need to remember that when I'm making decisions about how I am engaging with other people or how I am even engaging with myself and my own stuff. I value movement, therefore I cannot sit here in this, right? What do you value? What are important? I value relationships, not just relationships, but healthy relationships. Therefore, if this one is not, then we're going to have to do something else about it, right? But your values are the things that ground you and keep you stabilized, keep you in one place, hold you together when everything else is looking some type of way.
Chaotic.
Yes.
Would be the word that came to mind,
Yes.
So we have to find that center.
Yes.
What brings us to center? What brings us in balance? Whether it's reading, whether it's vacationing on an island, if, our resources can sustain that.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it, yes.
Yes. Yep. Whatever it looks like.
Yes.
And there are often, there are things that you're probably doing already that create stability for you. It's paying attention to what those things are, right? So it's, when do you feel calm and relaxed and energized and motivated? And what is the thing that's bringing that up for me? And so if I notice that, then I can do more of that thing. What are the things that are causing me to stress out, to be worried? Like, we've all had experiences where there's somebody in your life that you have a conversation with, now you stressed out. You like, okay, nope, I need to do something else about that, because it's bringing up something for you that's not healthy for you and probably not healthy for the other person as well.
True. Indeed. It's going to have to be part 3, 4, 5, and 6 on here. So many questions are coming up. I know that, with the respect of time here, and I know you probably have 30 million things to do, right? Right. But it's okay. So let's go ahead while we're here at the little bit after 1 And thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in and for all of your comments. But we're going to swing it back over to Dr. Brooks, so she's going to wrap up and then give some closing pointers on this particular subject as we're dealing collectively for a solution or some solutions, whatever fits and looks good for you and your lifestyle. Dr. Brooks.
Yeah, so if, again, the topic for today was when we're all going through it, navigating collective trauma together. And so my challenge to you, my push to you is, if there is something that you are going through with somebody else, don't just have it happen for you together, but actually go through it together. Meaning that I can get to a different place than where it is that I am right now, and we're going to do this together. Because a lot of times when it comes to experiencing something challenging in life, part of the issue or part of the struggle is you feel like you're by yourself. But how much more can you do when we're doing it together? We're going to move through it together. I don't have to have all the ideas myself. Somebody else can come up with something that can help everybody together. And then it's encouraging, and then it's not so scary, and then it's not that big thing, elephant in the room, and this is never going to happen for me, right? Someone else can normalize my experience and tell me that it's okay, and we're going to get better together. Yes.
And then, I won't say it because then it's going to be a 2-3 hour conversation. I won't do it. Not this time, at least. So better together definitely is needed and necessary. And for those individuals who want more information on this, walking through different traumas or situations or circumstances, I would not call everything we deal with trauma.
No.
It's just something that might knock us off, course a little bit, may cause a snafu in our path. Whatever way you look at it, this is definitely needed. We're human. We were created to connect, to engage with each other. And when we can't do that, and that's where the downfall goes. I'll call that a disability. But it is not an impossibility that we find some trusted voice or entity that we can lean into and lean on until we, get our feet together and figure out what gives us balance and how we can go through things collectively. So Dr. Brooks, you're talking to a group of people now, right? So you have half of them who are getting this, who are taking the notes, and then you have another group of people who are taking the notes, might want to give you a call, how to get in touch with you, and then the others, I think I might be ready, but I don't want to talk to anyone right now. Are there some tools that you can provide them until they get to that point of not only taking the notes and wanting to call, but being actually ready?
Yes. So I'll give you our phone number if you're ready. And even if you think you could potentially be ready, but you're not sure. Okay, so our number is 866-232-5389. And one of the things that I love about our team is we actually have a team member who will, if you call and you're not sure, she'll talk to you and help you to figure it out and help you to figure out what else do you need to be sure. Our therapists do not put pressure on anybody to get started with services. You can reach out and say, I don't really know just yet, and just have a 15-20 minute conversation with them for you to decide whether or not you're ready. And if you get ready, when will you know that you're actually ready? Therapy is not as scary as a lot of people think that it is. Usually once people get in the door, they're like, oh yeah, it's not this bad. It's just the getting in the door is a challenge. So to that end, one of the things that we do as a team is we participate in community events for the sake of normalizing the presence of mental health providers. So in a couple weeks, I know you talk about what's going on in the community. So in a couple weeks, there is the Griffin Place Suicide Prevention Walk. And part of that walk, they have community resources that are there to support people who are impacted by suicide. And so our staff will actually be at that event. And we had, last year we were there, and it warmed my heart. Somebody walked past, there was a young person, she walked past our table, and she kind of was looking at us out the corner of her eye, and then she turned around and came back, and she said, last year my mom told me that I need to talk to y'all, and so I think I'm ready. And I'm like, what if we weren't there?
Right.
What if we weren't there? You know, again, it's the seeing us there. We're a friendly face. We're out in Bronson Park. It's not in the office anywhere. And we just standing there with regular clothes on like regular people, you know, kind of helps people to come in sometimes, you know, because it softens the introduction.
Absolutely.
And so if you're not sure, then come see us at that event and we'll talk to you. And we know pressure. We gonna inform you, but we're not gonna put pressure on you to come. But yeah, make the commitment to take care of yourself, and that's really what it is. You know, right? Ask your question: am I scared to take care of myself? Right? Not am I scared to go to therapy? Are you scared to take care of yourself?
And then also I want to add to that, because we know this is a reality as well. Making a commitment to take care of yourself. No one needs permission to do self-care. Take care of themselves, and oftentimes what I said before, they kind of hold on to this. You know, I don't want to peel the scab off. You know, I want to hold on to this because it gets attention. You know, that type of thing. And then the other side of that is no one needs permission to take care of him or herself.
Yeah. And if you're scared to take the scab off, go to the doctor. They'll help you. Right? Go to the therapist. They will help you. That's the thing. You don't have to do it in your house alone. You don't have to do it alone, period. Whatever your support looks like, whether it's going through it with somebody else or with a therapist, you don't have to do. There's so much stuff that we deal with that we don't have to. There's so much stuff. You know, even therapists are. I know I refer clients to community resources all the time. I'm like, you'd have thought I was a case manager. The way I'm like, look, check this out and talk to your doctor about this or ask this person this question because I really want you to be okay as a whole person, right? So not just your mental health and stability, but everything that happens that encompasses who you are as a person, because all of that impacts your mental health and stability.
Absolutely. And along with the impact, I would be remiss if I don't mention this, the part where in doing the work, we have to undo some things. We have to unlearn some things.
Have to unlearn and relearn. And yes.
And rehearse and go over. And really check in with self, you know. I did a picture some years ago, me looking in the mirror. It's okay to check in with you.
It is.
You know, and it really is.
It is. And find you some friends that's checking in.
Thank you.
With themselves, right?
Yes.
To normalize that. You know, if you're around people who don't want to get help, guess what you're going to do? Not get help.
You're going to adopt that same mentality.
Yeah. Get you some new friends.
Well, hey, you said whatever it looks like.
Exactly. Right? You got to be aware.
So thank you so very much, Dr. Brooks. Do
Yes,
you have
ma'am.
on docket what we're talking about next month? And like I said, we're going to have to do a review.
Yes.
These things.
So next month we are talking about something called emotion and grief fatigue.
Yep.
Right, because that does fit what we talked about. Right? Emotion and grief fatigue. Like, I don't have no more empathy left, no more sympathy, no more nothing. Tapped out.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that because we don't want to become numb to life.
Because we do, a person's trauma is real to them, you know, but at the same time, where would you draw the line? I mean, because you've been talking about this for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm talking years on it.
Yeah.
So how do we do that?
Yeah.
Without seeming like there's no concern, because there is.
Yeah.
But also the concern is, I want you to be in a more positive space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Indeed. All right, Dr. Brooks, one more time, your number where individuals can contact you.
Yes, Chosen P LLC. We are at 1803 Whites Road, Suite 4, around the corner from some walls.
Oh, really?
Yeah, around the corner. And our number is 866-232-5389, or you can find us at Chosen, CHOSENPLLC.com.
Well, all right. Thank you so very, very much. The doctor will be back in the house the 1st of October. Can you believe it?
I know.
Oh, my goodness. It seems like we should still be like, maybe July.
Right?
Maybe end of July. This year has flown by. of course, as my mom says, you get older, they will all start flying by. And I am living that. It is true. And that's a normal thing. So just like we're talking about the years passing by, let's be able to talk about mental health and wellness easily like that, without hesitation or reservation.
Yes.
We all need a healing. And the first part of it is what? Talking about it.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And then identifying it. And then knowing how we adjust or not in certain situations. And that word that starts with a T, learning what those triggers are.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And just, just so, because I like the teaching mode and teaching side of things, that's why I appreciate you so much, how you break things down. But also, just keep in mind that everything is not a trigger. Everything is not trauma. I've been through this traumatic situation.
Look, and if it is, go talk to somebody about it.
Talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I just want, as we're trying to normalize the conversation around it, I don't want individuals to, oh yeah, that's a good one, that's a catchword, that's going to get everybody's attention. I don't want people to lean into that too much. Yeah. But stay in tune with your health, your wellness, and how you receive things or not, and then tap into what we as an individual and collectively have to dismantle, have to break down, have to unlearn in order to rebuild those things with what serves us in the season we're in. As Dr. Brooks was saying, what worked back when I was 9 or 10 may not work now that you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever. Okay? So thank you again. I appreciate you. Much needed information. And like I said, y'all, Dr. Brooks always drops those gems. Until next month.
Alrighty.
Or if you feel like you need to slip in, let me know.
I do. Definitely. I might.
Yeah.
We got a new provider.
Oh, really?
She hadn't ready. Yeah, she want to come.
Oh, okay.
She want to come
well,
see you.
Hey, the doors are open.
All right.
To come and speak on it.
Yes.
For real, because we need it. And thank you so much for being community and spreading information and tools to live by. It's important. All right. Y'all, that was Dr. Brooks. This is the first Saturday of the month. She will be back next month, okay? The first Saturday of October, believe it or not. And more information for you to utilize. Give her a call. Again, 866-232-5389. They're there waiting on you. And be patient for a call back, or you call back, okay? Thank you so much. And now we're going to turn to the music. And then after the music, we're going to go to our Black History pages. And the person that will be talking